Hello, everyone. Welcome to In Spiritual Journey. So today I'm going to do a 2023 reading. We're going to do one for every sign. So, the new year is approaching fast. 2022 only has less than 4 weeks for the remainder of this year. So whether it was a good year or whether it was a challenging year, whatever it was, hopefully you got to be able to step out of that box and heal and realize the importance of things and expand who you are to be able to move forward. So the year 2023 breaks down to the number 7. And the 7 in the major arcana is the Chariot, which is all about forward movement, right? And the Chariot has to balance the energy of these two, on here there's like sphinxes, I believe, whatever they are. Sometimes they're horses, but it's usually the light and the dark, which is the shadows plus the light within us. So balancing those two energies out to be able to move forwards in a balanced way. So if one gets off a little bit, then we can go off path. So this is like remaining steadfast and balancing our energy within. So these 7s is taking control of tough situations and remaining responsible and finding ways to succeed even through those challenges. So, the 7 of Swords is all about, manipulation around us, trickery, lies, deceit. This 7 of Wands is perseverance, and it can be, a little defense energy, like setting boundaries, things like that. The 7 of Cups is all about those opportunities and choices that we do have, but remaining clear-headed so we're not too much confused or disillusioned or in dreamlike state. And then 7 of Pentacles is all about planting those seeds, setting those intentions. So the 7s, it's remaining steadfast within, and to show what we've learned and what we've retained from all the challenges that we have been through. So that's what the year 2023 is all about, okay? Remaining steadfast, taking all those lessons that we have learned and retained and moving forward, okay? So now we're going to go ahead and get into each sign. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope like that listing that I put of all life's gifts, I hope you have all of those in 2023 and forevermore. So if you haven't watched that video, please check those out. We want to have that gratitude and grace and forgiveness and all that to be able to be in our highest state. So I hope you enjoyed these messages, and thanks so much for the support, and I hope you have a beautiful 2023. Hello, Gemini. Welcome to your 2023 yearly forecast. So, we are going to look at the year. Of course, it's all about energy, and we have free will to change that energy anytime we choose. So it's always nice to know like what's coming up, what's coming in, so we can, know what it is first and foremost, but also to be able to handle that and not be overwhelmed by it. Or, sometimes when we're overwhelmed, we react and we can cause more issues or get too emotional or anything like that. So we're going to go ahead and see. How I'm going to break it up is I'm going to pull an Osho Zen Tarot card for each month, so January through December, 12 cards. And I'm going to break up the oracles quarterly. So we're going to do January through March, April through June, July through September, and then October through December. Okay, so let's go ahead and read these cards here. Your planet is Mercury, so it's all about thinking, that logical mind, So this says how you think, communicate, write, talk, and travel. So it's how you communicate, basically, how you think and how you put it into words or you express yourself. You're also the 3rd house, which is your potential to learn something in your local neighborhood. So this is, like community, but it's also, again, learning, connected to that Mercury energy of thinking, learning, communication. So Gemini, you are an air sign, of course. You're the 3rd sign of the zodiac, and your energy is communicative, mischievous, lively, witty, and informative. Stimulating exchange is possible. Okay, so you're very like social. You are the twins, so you have that duality about you, and like it said, you're a logical sign. You can have a little bit of mischievous energy, you know, like trying to pick or nag at people a little bit. So, but anyway, we're going to go ahead and get into energy. Your major arcana is the Lover's card, which is all about that polarity. So, you know, you have that like twins energy, so you can be one way and you can be another. But we're going to go ahead and get into the energy. So let's go ahead and start with the oracles for January through March, okay? So you have Healing Heart. So again, we said you're the logical card, but this is something to do with your emotions, healing your heart. So this could be from past energy that has hurt you, past childhood wounds, or any kind of wounds that you've experienced. So it looks like you're going to be tapping into that heart energy more so than so than normal. Not that you're not an emotional sign, but you're more, you know, logical. You think about things. You are led by your head instead of your heart. So this is coming into that heart space a little bit. You do have liberation, so freeing yourself. So I feel like it's also balancing out those twin energies. So you can have that experience with the emotions as well. Because if we're all in our head, sometimes we tend to overthink things. We can be a little distant or cold from people, not connect to our compassion or sensitivity. So this is going to liberate you when you tap into your heart space a little bit. You do have the bear, who is you are the light. It is safe to step fully into your light. So I feel like once you start balancing out those energies of the head and the heart, the ego and the soul, you are going to have this light shining through and being like more your authentic self and have more peace, okay? Fully into your light, expressing who you really are. You do have the solar plexus chakra. The crystal is citrine and it's abundance. The world is abundant when you choose to see it that way. So once you tap into that compassion, your sensitivity, your emotions, then you could start to be able to see things more clearly, and you tap into more of your abundance. You know, you start to see things in a different way. You're more compassionate, more sensitive, more empathetic to people and situations. And you might not rub people the wrong way, because sometimes when you're like in your head and you're kind of cold and you say what you want, or you're picking and nagging, or, you know, that one twin, like you have that little angel and the little devil on there. If you're coming from that ego, you might be more prone to pick at people or criticize people and be a little blunt, and it can cause some issues where people might be a little standoffish. So this is being that. This also says a gate, which is healthy body. Every little cell in my body is happy and healthy. So again, I feel like this is balancing out those energies, because when we're all in our mental space, you know, sometimes our emotions, our mental space, our emotional state, or our spiritual state, or even our physical state can suffer, right? Because stress can do a lot of damage. We do have surrender to inner peace too. So, you know, what this does is bring in a sense of inner peace. You know, you start being more grateful for things. You start being more compassionate. You start being understanding. You come from that heart space a little more. So when you do this in January, we have this existence card. This is the major arcana of the magician. So, you know, balancing out all those tools, which are the cups, the swords, the pentacles, and the wands. When you start getting more balance, more abundance comes in. So it looks like you might be manifesting some things that you want, whether it's a relationship. And a lot of times we get into our emotional state and more understanding when we connect with somebody on an emotional level. So this could be a relationship coming in, or any other aspect of your life, manifesting. You do have the Lover's card in February, which is Valentine's, just in time for Valentine's. This is you as well. You are the Lover's card. So this is you being empowered. This also could be that relationship, maybe advancing to a next level in February, when it's like around that time of Valentine's Day. So it does look like you're going to be more empowered, possibly because of a relationship. Sometimes we are at our best when we're in a relationship. So that could be a more understanding about these emotions coming out, being more in that heart space energy, being more empathetic, compassionate, and sensitive, because you're connecting to another person. And then in March, we have this receptivity. The receptivity is the Queen of Wands. So this talk about compassion and coming from your heart space, right? So this is also being very intuitive as well. So a place of gratitude, you know? So it looks like this is kind of softening your energy a little bit and getting you into your heart space at the beginning of the year, whatever this is. I feel for a lot of you, it's a relationship. So when we move into springtime, April, May, and June, you have, again, this spirit of gratitude. So it looks like you still are in this space of gratitude, appreciating what you have, feeling blessed. We do have vertigo, whatever you choose will be correct. So anything you choose from your soul, your intuition, as well as your heart space, it's a good place to do, because we don't want to come from our ego or our head all the time, because that's going to overthink or not really put ourselves in an empathetic position. Also, our ego is always protective, so it can, it's always fearful a lot, because it knows only the past of what happened, and it tries to protect us. It doesn't know what's going to happen in the future, so it will put up like, do you really think he should be doing that? I don't think so. I think that's dangerous, So coming from that, again, heart space and soul will be liberating for you. Then we have the penguin, which is the diamond light activity. Light activations and new energies are coming your way. Be open to receive and welcome them in. So more about receiving. Again, I feel like this is because you're coming from that more open heart space, and even maybe your intuition, your higher self. That in comes these light activations for you. More downloads, raising your vibration. We get into the solar plexus chakra, which is the rutilated quartz, and it's about confidence. So of course you're going to be standing more confident. Usually when we're in a good connection, we will be more confident. We're happy, we're healthy, we're feeling good. So more confidence is showing too. You might feel, just because, you have somebody else that is in your life that wants to be with you, it boosts your confidence a little bit, right? And it says no one will believe in you if you don't believe in yourself. Be your own cheerleader. So, also this is trusting in why somebody would like you. Because sometimes we can start thinking about that. What if they start realizing who I am and run away or something like that? So stay in that confidence so you don't start getting fearful or overthinking things. Then we have Brazilianite, which is flexibility. I'm flexible and free to be me. So this could be a time also that you need to be a little more flexible. When we get into relationships, we do. Because, when we're single and on our own, we do what we want, right? But when you're in a relationship, you have to have that compromise, that flexibility, all right? Then we have surrender the idea you can fix someone. So if there's some issue, when we get into relationships, this is the bad thing, especially about us women. We get into a relationship and we'll say, like somebody might say, like, you don't want to hang with that one because, they're a player or this or that. And we'll start thinking, not for me. I'm going to change them. You can't fix people. They're going to be who they are. If they want to change because they are connected to you, that's a different story. But you cannot change things. So don't go into a relationship thinking you're going to fix or change someone. Don't do that, okay? Let them do their own fixing and changing. All right? So when we get into that, we are getting into some Leo energy. So you could be April. Maybe this person you're connected to is a Leo. But this is also about our inner strength. So it looks like you are going to be, that with that empowerment, you're going to be feeling your inner strength, tapped into that, having courage and all that, facing some of those fears, right? Now, May, May we get into this new vision. This is hangman energy. So you're looking at things that are from a different perspective. And isn't that the case when we get into relationships? We're always, walking on clouds, we're always like so happy and we can't see anything wrong. We're like looking at that energy of like this higher space. So this is looking at some energy from a different point of view, soaring high above everything and seeing things clearly and in a different way, right? When we get into June, which May and June is your birth month, we do have the 9 of water, which is the 9 of cups. It says laziness, but what this is that we are appreciative of everything we have. We just feel blessed, That's what the 9 of cups energy is. So when it's saying laziness here, I feel like we can start getting a little bit like, I'm just content the way I am, and then we might not try anymore. So this might be a reminder in June not to get too lax in the relationship. You should always, because things can die off and things can start being, routine, and then we kind of just start not appreciating it and start acting like, well, whatever. So you still have to put in some work and go on date nights and things like that. Of course, it's always going to be different than the beginning, but this is saying, don't get lazy in that, still, compliment each other, show affection, things like that, let them know that they are important to you. All right, so let's get into the second half of the year here, July, August, and September. We have endless possibilities. So I feel like this is that manifestation too. And as much work as we put in things and the way we think about things and have that open-heartedness, we can have endless possibilities. So if we're still connected to this relationship, it could be advancing, but this is like just knowing that you have a lot of possibilities here. We do have serendipity, which is merging with the flow. So a reminder here, just to kind of go with the flow. And I feel like Geminis are kind of go with the flow. So, this is just, allowing what the universe wants to bring in. Sometimes we don't always know best, so don't try to control a situation or anything like that. Just kind of go with the flow and see what happens. Sometimes the universe, well, most of the time, the universe has a better understanding and outlook and outcome than we can, because we get our ego involved and our overthinking, right? Then we have giraffe, again, about that bigger picture. So, again, looking at the bigger picture. Don't get in a narrow-minded focus, overthinking, or anything like that. Seeing things from a different perspective. Now we have the chakra balance, and it is about balance, and it says embrace the balance between earth and spirit. So again, I feel like it's that duality of the twins again, but this is, so it could be like balancing out the divine masculine, divine feminine energy, that polarity. And also, I feel like what this is saying about the earth and spirit is your ego and your soul, your higher self, Don't let your ego take charge of everything or overthink things, or your mind or your heart again. Stay in that balanced energy. Sometimes we need that logic, and sometimes we need that open heart. Most of the time, things come from that heart space. That's what you got to trust the most, right? Then we have serpentine, which is transformation. My life is transforming at the perfect time in the most powerful way. So I do feel like you're having a major transformation here. I think like this relationship possibly, or whatever you're going through, is really transforming you and raising your vibration. And especially since you are balancing those energies out. You're not living on one twin so much, or back and forth. So this is surrender to negative thinking. So again, you're a very logical sign. Mercury is your ruler. So this could be, slipping back into, humans, we criticize ourselves a lot. We think negative thoughts. We have 60,000 thoughts a day. So, this is being careful what you are telling yourself as well. Okay. Don't get into that negative thinking. Don't start doing that, because then we start sabotaging ourselves or getting fearful. So then when we get into October, we have the schizophrenia card. This is the Two of Swords. Again, this is being in our headspace. Not seeing the big picture like it just told you to see, because this is getting into our critical minds and choosing not to say, like people could be saying like, it's this way, but you're so much in your thought, and you're like, no, I can't see it. I got my blinders on. It's this, because this is what I'm feeling, and this is what happened before. You got to not get in that. Take off the blindfold, see things for what they are. Don't overthink things, okay? Because it's just going to make you crazy, all right? When we get into November, we have the Four of Water. This says turning in. This is the Four of Cups. So you might need to step back a little bit and, not speak everything, because it could create some problems. Again, you might be getting into that energy where you just speak your mind and you're in that critical way of thinking, and you could just blurt out something and not mean it, and it's going to maybe damage some situation or sabotage yourself. So just be careful with that. Go within and, be discerning of what you expose to everybody else. Think about what you're saying and where it's coming from. All right, so when we get into, I'm sorry, you know what I said? That was, let me see, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August. This is September. I'm sorry, this was August. I'm getting so I'm ahead of myself. So when we get into September, this is clinging to the past. This is that Five of Water, which is the Five of Cups. So this is disappointment. So I do really feel like in July, August, and September, the summer months, it might be something that triggered you, or maybe you're going through some, the newness of the relationship or whatever is coming to an end, and you could be in that negative space thinking, about the past disappointments or anything like that. This also could be the relationship might end because just for whatever reason, but this is getting into some kind of disappointment here. We're overthinking, but sometimes it's what we think about too. So clinging to the past, something I really feel like triggers you in the summer months here. And then you get into that critical mind space, and you start thinking about the past, like this happened, so I know this is going to happen again. Or thinking about the disappointments and living in the past. Let go of that past. It's done. Just take the lessons from it. You know, instead of thinking what happened, think about how I could have done something differently. Or maybe I should have paid attention to those red flags. Or maybe I should have, you know, trusted my intuition or whatever it is. Okay, now we're getting into October. And again, you have quite a few major arcanas here. We have January, February, May, and now we have into October. We have this transformation. So this is the Death card. This can be a Scorpio, but what this is, again, is letting go of things that don't serve us. So it looks like by the time the summer's over and you're getting into October, the fall months, you are letting go of that energy again, and you're realizing that doesn't serve me, and it's just causing more chaos in my life and stress. So this is a letting go of energy. The Death card's about letting go and transformation again. So it does look like you catch yourself because you did have that transformation and it looks like you slipped back a little bit. And that's normal sometimes. So it looks like you slipped back a little bit, but then you gained your bearings, got back on track, and you're going to be doing some letting go and transforming in October. Of course, by the time we get into November, though, we have this guilt card. So feeling fenced in, you know, trapped. So there's, I really feel like in the Eight of Clouds is, again, that mental energy. So it looks like you're back and forth. So you need to balance out this energy within yourself, okay? And then by the time we get into December, you have this innocence, and it's the Sun card. So, you know, happy again, you know? So it looks like you're just like kind of all over the place, back and forth, which makes sense. And I forgot to do the oracles. So we have the beautiful uncaging. This is for October, November, December. So it does look like you are going to release with that Death card. You know, you're letting go. We have Hex. Be still and allow the enemy to reveal himself. So there could be somebody that's not in your highest good, that's doing something dirty or something. You might be maybe that's why you're feeling fenced in. But this is they're gonna reveal yourself. It's gonna come out. So don't worry yourself to death too much. Just set up healthy boundaries. Trust your intuition. Pay attention to those red flags. And then we have Squirrel, spiritual maintenance. So it does look like there might be, with the letting go, a little bit of transformation, but also healing energy, so that we can let go and release whatever this Hex energy is. Then we have the out of chaos comes creation. So it does look like you are going to be using that as a catalyst and starting to get into your creation here. And it's chakra balance, and the crystals are Amazonite, cornelian, peach, moonstone, and red jasper. We have the red tourmaline, passion. I am the embodiment of a high passion. So it looks like possibly the relationship's ending, or something's transformed here, some disappointment, and you're getting back on track and throwing yourself into your creativity. So whether it's like being creative in the relationship to bring it back, the spark or whatever, or if it's another way to go, like a hobby or work or whatever it is. And it does have surrender to creativity. So it looks like the end of the year you're going to be into your creative energy, going towards something you're passionate about, putting a little more oomph and work into something, right? Following that. So we're going to go ahead and close this reading with a message from the universe for the whole year of 2023 for you, Gemini. So let's get into it. So it looks like here you're going to be balancing out the ego and the higher self, as well as the heart space and the mental space. You could be coming into a relationship where you're really, compassionate, emotional, loving towards this person. That really kind of shifts your energy. You're going to feel pretty content. You're going to see things from a higher perspective. But then in the second part of the year, there's something happens. Either it's something within you, or maybe the relationships, get into that comfortable level where we're not like those butterflies anymore, or it's ending or something like that. So you're back into your thinking and critical thinking and overthinking, and you have to go within and release something from the past that triggered you or something like that. It does look like it's going to be releasing some guilt, some feeling fenced in, as well as transformation, and then your happiness comes back in. Okay, so, and your creativity, you're going to be creative, balancing out those masculine and feminine energies, balancing out the mind and your heart. So it does look like at the end of the year you are going to be happy again. We all go through ups and downs, so it does look like that. So this says, there isn't a soul on the planet who doesn't crave your approval. The only difference between a friend and a foe is that you've decided where your love can grow. Ho, the universe. So again, I kind of feel like this is that energy of like the dark and light, like that balanced polarity energy again. And that's what you're all about. So there really needs to be a lot of balance in the next year. I think it would serve you well here. So, you know, don't get too much into your headspace. Don't get too much in your ego. And don't let your mind wander to the past too much or your past disappointments. It does look like there needs to be a balance, because the hardships and the lessons that we went through and the dark times do teach us a lesson, so it does look like there might be needing your approval. There might be some stuff from your past that still triggers you, still comes up, and that you need to release. Okay, but you need to, trust that, love that you had all those lessons and it's made you strong, and move forward and made you who you are today. All right, Gemini, so that's your message. Thanks so much for watching and the support. I wish you a very prosperous, abundant, and loving, safe 2023. Take care.